to. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to What Matters Gulf Coast. We have a very interesting discussion that's going on with City Council right now. It is a major issue. I know we were very attentive and active when we were all working on the redistricting. Well, this is another issue that is equally as important. I am talking about annexation, how it will impact us, whether or not it will impact us, what are the benefits, and then what are the drawbacks. So, our format here on this show is to bring you both sides of the issue, those that people that are in favor of it and why, and then people who are against it and why. And we feel that if we give you the information on both sides of that coin, then you're quite capable of making your decision. So, without any other hesitation, I will introduce our first guest, and this person is in favor of annexation. He is our favorite city council member who represents District 2. And of course, I'm talking about Councilman William Carroll, who will take us through the annexation, all of the benefits of it, and why we should do it. Okay? Councilman Carroll.
Well, again, thank you for allowing me to be on the show and asking me to be here. And it's a pleasure to talk with you guys, and especially District 2 and the city of Mobile. You said that I was 100% for annexation. I've never said that I was 100% for annexation, but I have said that I am favorable to annexation, especially if it's done right. I do not oppose growth of our city, and I believe that growth of our city is essential to our future, essential to our revenue, essential to opportunities that are revenue generating, essential to job growth for the city, and also essential to just the next generational change that's coming to the city of Mobile as far as providing providing area for growth to our city, and not just being, I should say, trapped or quarantined to an area where our potential for growth has to start to go vertical. We're not a city that's set up to go vertical. We may be in 20, 30, 40 years, but right now we're not. Let me say this too, and I made this statement. Mobile is the economic center, not just for Mobile County, but for our metropolitan area. We stretch all the way over into Baldwin County. We have effects as far north as Calvert and into Escambia County. Mobile was the economic engine that gave $33.5 million to TK to get it here to the city to provide jobs for us. I didn't see any other cities doing that. I didn't see Daphne. I didn't see Pritchard. I didn't see Baldwin County. I didn't see Foley or Gulf Shores or Fairhope, or none of these cities contribute the millions of dollars like the city of Mobile did to provide an enhance in our economic structure. Granted that the state of Alabama did, but I didn't see our surrounding cities help support this. And in order to do things like Austal and Airbus, and to continue to bring in major industry like this, then we need a city that has an economic engine can drive this. In order to do that, as we grow, we have to continue to generate additional revenue. And those sources mean that we can't stay or remain the same in the footprints that we have. We have to provide new business, new economy, new revenue sources, and new streams that add to the coffers so that we can both continue to grow, add businesses, but also hold our economy and our budget in the format that we have it now so that we can operate and keep providing the services that we have. Now, we say that it doesn't affect us, that growth doesn't, and the city's contribution to these things. But I know that people like me and look like me need the jobs that this type of growth provides. So I don't see anyone else doing that. Have you seen Sims provide the jobs that the city of Mobile need for people like us, or Daphne that have done that, or Fairhope? No, it's been the city of Mobile. So we need to continue to be able to grow. We need to continue to be able to provide those revenue and resources. Now, the thing is that we have to be able to do it in a way that's equitable for everybody. We can't go off and leave one group behind in place for another. But those are things that we really have to look at. We know that if we grow west, that the population disparities, meaning that the makeup is more or less minorities out in the western part of our county that we're trying to look at than there are the majority. We know that there are fewer Asians and Hispanics and foreigners out there than there are within the inner city right now. So we know that demographic is a little less than what we're looking at in the city, and it may change the makeup. To say that, I've heard people say that it is going to cause District 7, if we were to have an annexation, to give up the chance to elect the person of their choice that looks like us or that's a minority before we ever get started. And that's not true. We are not and cannot, because of the way the Voting Rights Act is structured, we cannot change that demographic because of annexation. We can't do that. So for those of us that are thinking that way, it just won't happen that way. It may be suggested that you think with a reapportionment that may happen, but no, that will not happen. So as we go forward, and as we do the things that it takes to grow our city, then I ask that we all work together to make the best possible decision for one, growth from within our city and grow from without.
Okay, all right. I do appreciate that. And that just kind of brought up a few questions for me. When you're talking about growth for our city, could you be a little more specific so our audience will understand exactly what that concept entails?
Right. Well, when I talk about growth for our city, I'm also talking about boundary growth and mass land area. Also, I'm talking about population too. So, you annex for, three things. You annex for revenue, you annex for land, and you annex for population. And in this case, we're getting population and we're getting land and we're getting a revenue stream that is not as large as the annexation attempt under the Sam Jones administration or the Jones administration, but we are bringing in additional revenue. Right now, the county produces, I think, somewhere between $14 and $21 million a year that's in the PJ. And the city is also paying for a lot of that stuff that's in the PJ too. So over time, I think we spend $21 million a year in the PJ, or 26, and some people would say 35, but that's taken into consideration the jail. But you have to prorate that amount out because not all of that money goes out into the PJ or into the study areas that we're looking at. So in my mind, if you do the math, we're losing a little bit of money out in the PJ every year. So
PJ.
The police jurisdiction.
Okay.
We're losing a little bit of money in the police jurisdiction, but however, we're growing and there are new businesses coming up and new businesses being built. So in the long short of it, under an annexation attempt in various areas with the money that we receive for annexation, and also the monies that we have coming in from the PJ, then we're also generating an opportunity to regain our losses out there too while providing new services. So there's a lot going on with these study areas and also a possible annexation attempt because we really don't know what's going to happen yet until the council makes a decision.
Okay, let's go back to revenue. What type of revenue would this new potentially annexed area bring in? What kind of industries? Where would the revenue come? Be specific.
Okay. We're looking at a Walmart. I can't even give you the study area labels yet. So let's use maps A, B, and C, and D. In map A, it brings in all of the Dodge Road area of Cottage Hill, which is a new Publix, new Walmart. There's several businesses along that corridor. It also brings in Schillinger's Road all the way over to Hollis Ferry, which it takes in the rest of the commercial corridor that we did not get during the Sam Jones administration. Map A also goes up the Airport Boulevard going towards Snow Road, bringing in those additional revenue sources there. So we're looking at a total maybe of somewhere between $5 and $14 million of total revenue, which after all expenses for what we think, because we don't have the PFM study back yet, is somewhere between $7 and $8 million right now of expenditures on services in that area. We're looking at excess revenues over expenditures somewhere between $5 and $7 million per year. And that will grow over a period of time, over 10 years, during a life cycle to additional revenues is what I've seen projected. Now, again, we won't know what the true numbers are or the solid numbers are or the verification and validation of that until PFM comes back, and I'm expecting them in the next 2 weeks, the 24th of March.
Okay. When we're back to the revenue question a little bit more, out of the 26,000, what percentage would you say are just residential, and what percentage would be businesses?
Well,
industry?
I cannot give you the percentage of business to residential because like I said, I don't know the total makeup, and maybe PFM can validate that for us.
Yeah.
But I just gave you the projected numbers of Map A, which is the 26,000 people of what we're looking at. And I can tell you that the demographics are I think more 58, 31, whatever, I can't remember, but it brings, and this is the thing that a lot of people are talking about, it brings the voting age disparity, which is right now a 3 to 5 point, down to an even number of 48.6 and 48.7, or I can't believe it may be reversed, 47.6 and 47.8. So it brings them almost even when it comes to people that are of voting age between blacks, whites, and others. Now, the other category would be much smaller, but between blacks and whites, to make it simple, it would be just about even in Map A.
Okay, when you were talking about demographics, you said 58%, 31, 58 representing
whites. And then that's right, the majority.
Blacks or minorities?
No, let's blacks, okay. Because there is another category there that is other.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You had mentioned, and I think you and I had talked about this once before, when you kind of went over the fact that Mobile tends to be the driving force for economic development in this region. And oftentimes some of the other counties kind of benefit from that. For example, when you said TK came in and Austell came in and Airbus came in or is still coming in, the other counties will sometimes get those residents or sell houses to them or whatever. Is there any way possible, or is that there even a thought towards bringing together kind of something like a consortium of those other counties so that if you're going to do a major development and they will also benefit somewhat, they could share in some of the expenses?
Well, the key word there that you're using is other counties. Mm-hmm. But the key here is not the other counties. The key here is the municipality of the city of Mobile. Once again, I know that the county gave money to TK when it came, but the major contributor in this region was the city of Mobile, which was $33.5 million. Okay. So Daphne, Loxley, Foley, Fairhope, Gulf Shores, they're not in an economic position, from what I see, to be a major contributor to a funding request like that coming from the State House. But Mobile is, however.
Yeah.
You know, a matter of fact, we floated a bond issue, and that bond issue was paid off with debt service over time to be able to do that and be a contributor to the Airbus, I'm not Airbus, but the TK situation.
Yeah.
Now, when we went to Paris and Toulouse and to Singapore and to London with air shows, when we were recording Airbus, when we were going after the tanker for the first time, there were other counties represented. And I'm going to say that they represented those counties as a whole. But when Mobile went, the municipality went along with the county and the team. So we were twofold here. So to be honest, Mobile again is the anchoring driving force here along with Mobile County. See, so if again, that leads us back to the thought. What happens if something happens to Mobile and we are put into a box where we can't grow, to where we can't contain additional revenue generating sources, where we can't provide additional or gain other tax services because sales tax is our primary source of income? What happens when Mobile gets to a point where it is levelly funded, and it's levelly funded for 20 years, and we can't do the things that we need to do to continue to provide for additional jobs, additional growth, additional industry, additional areas for people to actually live within the city and also have properties without the city? What happens when we say that, or possibly may say, that we're going to bring our services in and not extend them out in the PJ or to the county, and these people lose their ISO ratings, and they don't have police, and they don't have fire, and they don't have VMSs? What happens to them? Mobile is the anchoring source. We're the anchoring source. So if we go stagnant, then what happens? You know, it's fortunate that Sims is out there trying to start another city. But right now, could they cover the area that the city of Mobile does? Not to say that Mobile is the saving grace, but we are the anchoring system, not just for us, but for everybody around us. And, you know, and to be honest, with our economy, with our port, with our airports, with the changes downtown, you know, I say this, so goes Mobile, so goes the state of Alabama.
Okay, couple of things. Services. Are we not already providing some services to those outlining areas that are really not a part of the city?
Yes, ma'am. And that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the police jurisdiction.
Okay.
We spend roughly $21 million a year in the police jurisdiction, where we provide police and fire and other services that are small. The only thing that we don't provide out there right now is trash and garbage.
Okay.
So in essence, the areas that we're looking at in the annexation studies should already be inside the city of Mobile, but we're not gaining the revenues that we're already providing the services for out there anyway. I mean, because they pay 2 cents on the dollar, we're paying, you know, or I should say overall it's 5, but right here in the city, everybody's at 7 to 10 because of the way it's structured.
Yeah.
So in essence, right now we're providing a service out there where we're seeing, you know, no benefit from the service.
Yeah.
So that's something else you have to look at and consider.
That's true. That's true. If this happens, well, before that, let's back up. Talk to us a little bit about what this is, because this annexation, if it goes through, would take in a portion of Sims or all of Sims, what?
No, ma'am, we wouldn't take in any part of Sims at all.
Uh-huh.
And to be honest, what most people don't know that are following this, because we're following it so close, on February 23rd, which was 2 to 3 weeks ago, Sims has already annexed a part of the area that we like to annex into the city of Mobile to keep us from doing it. They've also annexed a piece of Schillinger's Road also to keep us from doing it. And that piece of Schillinger's Road has economics in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody wants to grow, you know, and they see the importance of it, you know, but so does the city of Mobile. Now, that potential for growth that everyone else wants to get to was seeded and funded and nurtured by the city of Mobile and our infrastructure.
Yeah.
For years, money was coming out of the city of Mobile, going through the MPO, and was being spent on enhancing Schillinger's Road, developing the areas away from it. That money was coming from down here. See, so it was coming from, I should say, inside our city limits and going out there. But the major tax basin regions were the inside 65 and I-10. So a lot of our money went out there to help develop West Mobile.
Yeah.
So now, look, we built it. Why not it be part of the city of Mobile?
So the areas that you were just talking about that Sam's has annexed or attempted to annex, does that mean that Mobile now is just totally out of that?
That's right. Mobile now cannot annex those areas into our area, and those were areas on the map that we'd like to, or within the study area that the people that put together the map would have liked to obtain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're working very hard.
Yeah.
And if I say it again, if we are blocked in, and it may take some time for that to happen, but if it gets to a point to where we can't go west and we can't go south, and right now we can't go north either because we have a city to our north, so what happens? What happens if we can't have areas for new business, new growth, new residents? What happens if the only place that we have to go is up? And like I said, we're a city that's not prepared to go vertical.
Yeah.
And we're definitely a city that doesn't want to give up its historic places in order to provide areas to go vertical, to provide for additional people within the city.
Yeah. Let's see that. I know we invited you to talk to us about annexation, but changing the topic just a tad bit. Talk to us about Amtrak and the possibility of passenger trains.
Well, the possibility of passenger trains is definite now. Amtrak's coming.
Okay.
So where they're going to be, where they're going to land, I don't know. But again, let me make an analogy here. I said Mobile is an anchoring system.
Yeah.
Everybody watches the news, right? So if you've been watching Amtrak, you've noticed that since Mobile is now anchoring Amtrak and looking to have it here in the city, now you see Pensacola doing it. You watch all the things that Mobile has done, then you follow suit and you see Pensacola doing it. Pensacola wanted to establish an entertainment district in their downtown. They've done that. They want Amtrak. Now they're chasing that. They want growth. They're doing that. So people watch us and people understand what we're doing, and people understand the importance of how we do things and the way our leadership works here. They understand what our future looks like. So we are a leader, not just in our state, in our metropolitan area, but others are watching too. And let me say this to everybody. Huntsville is saying that they're getting 500 people a month moving there. 500 people a month. 500 people a month. They are projecting by 2030 that they will have more than 300,000 people in their city. Now, I say this all the time. When you're the best city in the state of Alabama, people are going to come anyway. They're going to want to be here. They're not going to want to leave. When we dress our city up with the things that we need, affordable housing, partnering with our doggone education system, curtailing our crime rate, working even harder on that, and increasing our quality of life with arts and entertainment, there's no better place to be than in the city of Mobile. Why? Because we have everything else to support that. We have industry, we have the port, we have airport system now with 2 different types of airports. We are at the precipice with forward-thinking leadership, people that, and a person that, or people that can see and look 20 years down the road, not just for the benefit of today, but for the benefit of tomorrow. I mean, we are on our way. And my goal is to make District 2 the best district in the city. But the most importantly is to have the best city in the state of Alabama. And when we have that, nobody's going to want to leave here. Yeah. They're going to want to be here anyway.
Yeah. Well, I know for a fact, personally, I know maybe about 6 or 7 families that have gotten to retirement age and have actually moved back from the Eastern Shore back to downtown Mobile. Now, I'm a downtown person, and you are too.
I love downtown.
I love downtown. And these people have actually come back from Eastern Shore and have moved back.
Yeah.
Relatively young retirees, and have moved back downtown. So that's a positive note.
You know, I had to smile at that. She said young retirees.
Yes, yes, of course. Recently retired. Yes, they have. But anyway, well, we do appreciate you coming, and we do appreciate you sharing the information with us that you've shared. And of course, sitting in the position where you're sitting, you would have the advantage of knowing some things that we don't know, or being able to explain some of the happenings behind the scene that we don't necessarily know, because we're not in that position, and you are. So we do appreciate you coming. Do you have anything else? Anything else that's coming as far as city council you want to get out to the public?
Well, I will put this little trinket out. Continue to watch the plans for redevelopment, especially in District 2. Everybody sees what we're doing as far as housing now and infill and the opportunities for the RFPs that have gone out. But there is so much more to come. I hope soon to announce with the administration, who we're talking with and partnering with, and other agencies to unveil a plan that encompasses a large area of our inner city as it comes to neighborhood revitalization, blight control, infrastructure improvement, new housing stock. So please stay tuned. More to come.
Okay. What about affordable housing before we get off of that topic?
Well, affordable housing is one of the things that we need most in this city.
Yes.
You know, it's paramount that we have it. You know, I think that for young people starting out, for older people that are on fixed incomes, for people that want to scale down, I mean, we need to have that, and it's coming. It's coming in a lot of different directions and areas and in multiple forms. I look to see what I say is the best sort, which is single family home ownership, because to me, that's the dream. Everybody wants their own home, but there will also be opportunities for apartment living and townhouse living also. So development, I hope to see start coming soon. And as most people know, I have held $1.1 million to help start this process, and along with other revenues that we find and we gain, I expect any excess revenue that this district has to put that towards these programs where we're providing affordable housing and neighborhood revitalization, along with neighborhood infill. And these are in areas that have over the last 30 years, you know, have just been underattended. And I'm talking about areas like the Bottom, the Campground, Maysville, areas that need this infusion of infill housing and also new housing stock and redevelopment.
Yes, that's true. Well, that's a positive note to end on, because I know when it comes to housing is very expensive, can be very expensive, and especially for little young couples just getting started. They can't afford a $200,000, $250,000 house. If they can get $100,000, $150,000, something in that neighborhood, they can afford it and still be able to eat and sleep.
Yes, ma'am.
So we do appreciate that information. It's good to know that Amtrak is coming. We also have another airlines that's also coming in.
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
You didn't mention anything.
Oh, well, we've been so focused on annexation, but starting May 1st, we will have a flight from Mobile to Orlando. That's $29 one way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine that? And, you know, for those of us like me that went to school in Florida, you know, one-way trip to Orlando is like a weekend, you know, of hanging out with old classmates and friends to run over and then come back. Now, I can't remember what the return flight's like right now, but I can't see it being very much more. No. So this is a big plus for us. Plus, Orlando is also an entertainment venue, a vacation venue. You know, you got Disney World there. So this is going to be a positive for so many families.
If you know who leaves alone. But anyway.
I know who what?
I said if you know who leaves Disney World alone.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, well, we want to thank you again. You're always really, really great about keeping us informed and letting us know what's coming down the tube. And what I want you to do is take a look at your calendar for April and let us know what would be a good time for you to come back.
Well,
Okay?
let's just say this. I'm expecting the PFM study on 24 March. So let's look for the first Sunday in April.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll go on and pencil you in.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
For that time. And then, of course, we will send you some sort of confirmation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once again, we want to thank you. And of course, we want to thank our audience for attending today. And we will wish the very best for you and see you again next week. Thank you and good evening.